Okay, listen close, I don't have much time. Well, actually, you don't really need to listen close, but it is true that I don't have much time. So I'm going to try to do this all in one shot, if possible. Ready? Go. Alright, so this week we're talking about college, apparently. What do I have to say about college? Well, a lot of people go to college and they're like, oh, I've got all this freedom, I'm going to go party and do all these crazy wild things. I don't really do crazy wild things, or at least not that kind of crazy wild things. I like, rambunctious adventures and going and saving planets and things like that. But parties don't tend to be my scene. Large groups of people in general tend to be kind of chaotic for me. A lot of my time at college socially was spent kind of in a divided way. I still had a lot of friends back home that I wanted to maintain friendships with, and that more or less I think I did a decent job of maintaining those friendships over the course of my 4 years at college, but that involved coming home a lot of weekends. It was only about an hour and a quarter drive, so it wasn't that bad, but it did mean that I didn't get to do much at Miami on weekends. And so when I would be at college on weekends, because I didn't spend weekends there, I wouldn't really know what to do a lot of the time, which was kind of confusing. One of the biggest groups that I was involved in at college was the National Novel Writing Month group. I actually was in charge of it for a year, maybe two, depending on how you count, or co-in charge for 2 years. So if you divide that, because I was only half the leadership, then 1 year something. Somehow that all makes sense. It was a group for National Novel Writing Month, so we would get people together, we would try to write novels, we'd debate how to write novels, things like that. I switched my major after my freshman year. My first year, my major had been computer engineering, which had a lot of physics and numbers and things that, whereas I was okay with it, I was not very interested in it, so I could do all the math and everything. I was just bored out of my mind doing it. And so I switched over to English education, which was a bit more interesting to me and where I had some classes that I actually enjoyed. Of course, I got out into the real world and realized that neither English nor education are super sellable things with a degree. So now I'm working for the government doing nothing related to either English or education. But that's all okay. I feel like this is the episode where I say things and then I follow it up by saying, but that's okay. But yeah, so a brief rundown of my college history. Freshman year, I messed everything up in my life. That was fun. Sophomore year, I was kind of trying to put things together after I had messed up everything in my life. Junior year, I put together this movie that I didn't finish until more recently. That was cool. That was the most notable thing, I think, of junior year. I think the last half of junior year was kind of a downward spiral for me. Senior year, I finally actually moved out of the dorms and got an apartment, and it was lots of fun, and I would have people over, and we'd, play games and do cool things and be nerdy, and that was lots of fun. That was my favorite. And then the last semester of senior year was student teaching, which was closer to back home, so I moved back home, and student teaching was very miserable for me. So that's kind of a brief rundown of college and a lot of sporadic thoughts about my college experience. All in all, I think that a lot of college made me really angry with humanity and people in general, which isn't necessarily okay, so it's something that I'm still kind of trying to recover from, and that it's made me kind of bitter towards the college/academic process that we have in general. And the fact that we're attacking the academic process and making it worse politically is probably also not helpful. But not to go off on that, because that's maybe less relevant. I'm going to say that I don't have anything else that I can think of to share on this topic. But maybe other college stories will creep in future vlogs. I don't really know. I'm interested to hear what other people have to say about college. Hopefully other people might be more interesting than what I had to say. And I will see you all next week. This is the part where I'm supposed to have something clever to say as a closing, right?